The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud.
Sunny Hostin, her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a law.
Buckle up, everyone, because this story is wilder than a high-speed roller coaster with more twists and turns than you can imagine. So let's dive right in. Picture this. Sunny Hostin, the bold and outspoken co-host of The View, known for her fiery opinions on everything from politics to pop culture, suddenly finds herself at the center of a legal and personal storm that has everyone talking. And this isn't just your typical tabloid gossip. Nope, this scandal involves federal lawsuits, accusations of fraud, and even whispers of serious behind-the-scenes drama. If you thought Sunny was only about heated debates on daytime TV, think again, because this controversy has her name plastered all over it, and not in a good way. Let's break it all down.
To the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgery.
First, let's set the stage with the central figure in this unfolding scandal, Emmanuel Hostin, Sunny's husband. Emmanuel is a respected orthopedic surgeon, or at least he was, until this bombshell lawsuit surfaced. American Transit, a major insurance company, has accused Hostin and nearly 200 others of orchestrating a massive fraud scheme. And we're not talking about minor billing errors here. No, the lawsuit claims that this operation was so elaborate, it could make a Hollywood heist movie look tame. According to the allegations, Hostin was performing unnecessary medical procedures, surgeries that patients didn't even need, just to cash in on insurance payouts. And to make things even more shocking, the lawsuit was filed under RICO laws, the same ones originally designed to dismantle organized crime. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. This is as serious as it gets.
Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failure.
Now, here's the kicker. The accusations don't stop with Hostin. Rumors are swirling that Sunny herself might have known more about her husband's alleged activities than she's letting on. And let's not forget, before Sunny became a household name on The View, she was a federal prosecutor. That's right. Her entire career was built on upholding the law and cracking down on corruption. The irony here is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Speculation is running wild, with some wondering if Sunny may have used her legal expertise to help cover her husband's tracks. Could she have been the mastermind behind the operation, or is she just an innocent bystander caught in the chaos? Either way, the internet is buzzing and opinions are flying in every direction.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
Now, let's talk about the lawsuit itself, because this isn't your typical courtroom drama. American Transit is accusing Hostin and the other defendants of exploiting New York's no-fault insurance laws. For those unfamiliar, these laws are meant to help accident victims get their medical bills covered without needing to prove fault. But according to the lawsuit, and his alleged co-conspirators turned this system into their personal piggy bank. They're being accused of performing unnecessary procedures, submitting bogus claims, and raking in tens of millions in fraudulent payouts. And here's where it gets even more scandalous. Under RICO laws, any damages awarded in the case could be tripled. That means if the court finds guilty, we could be looking at potentially billions in penalties, enough to destroy even the most well-established careers.
Oh, he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
But wait, it gets even worse. Reports are now emerging that federal investigators executed a search warrant at the Hostin residence and allegedly discovered large sums of cash hidden away. We're talking stacks upon stacks of money. Enough to raise eyebrows and fuel endless speculation. Was this cash part of the alleged fraud scheme, or is there another explanation? Sunny, of course, has denied any wrongdoing. She's called the accusations against her husband baseless and insists that their family has nothing to hide. But let's be real, when federal agents are searching your home and rumors of hidden money start swirling, it's hard not to wonder if there's more to the story. Now, Sunny has never been one to shy away from controversy. On The View, she's built a reputation for her sharp opinions and no-holds-barred commentary. But her critics are having a field day with this scandal, accusing her of hypocrisy. How can she sit on national television calling out corruption when her own household is under such intense scrutiny? And honestly, it's a fair question. How does someone who has spent years demanding accountability and transparency reconcile that with the serious allegations facing her husband and maybe even herself? Social media is on fire, with many calling for her resignation from The View, arguing that her credibility as a commentator is ruined. Others are rushing to her defense, saying these are just accusations and that everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt. But let's face it, the court of public opinion is rarely kind. And Sunny, she's learning that the hard way.
It's just, I mean, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to.
And speaking of public backlash, the drama isn't just playing out online, it's making waves on the set of The View, too. Sunny's co-hosts have been noticeably tight-lipped about the scandal, but you can feel the tension in the air. Fans of the show have picked up on it as well, with some speculating that the network might already be considering cutting ties with Sunny to protect the show's reputation. After all, The View thrives on its ability to tackle tough issues and hold people accountable. But can they really keep Sunny on the panel while she's embroiled in such a messy legal battle? It's a question that's only adding fuel to the fire.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance fraud.
Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just a story about one doctor allegedly committing fraud or one TV personality facing backlash. This is about the intersection of power, privilege, and accountability. Sunny Hostin has always positioned herself as a champion of justice, someone who fights for the little guy and speaks truth to power. But if these allegations hold any weight, it could shatter that image completely. And what about the patients caught up in this alleged scheme? If the claims are true, real people, many of them taxi and rideshare drivers, were subjected to unnecessary medical procedures just so someone could profit. That's not just unethical, it's downright horrifying.
And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history.
And let's not forget the legal implications for Sunny herself. If investigators uncover any evidence that she was involved in her husband's alleged activities, she could be facing charges of her own. And we're not talking about a slap on the wrist. We're talking about potential prison time, financial ruin, and the total collapse of her career. It's a high-stakes situation, and the pressure is mounting by the day. But here's the thing. Sunny isn't going down without a fight. In a fiery statement, she blasted American Transit, accusing the company of running a smear campaign against her family. She claims the lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate attempt to avoid paying out legitimate claims, and insists that her husband is innocent. Their legal team, led by high-profile attorney Mark Garagos, has already threatened to countersue American Transit for defamation, demanding $5 million in damages. According to Garagos, the lawsuit has caused irreparable harm to Drew Hostin's reputation and the emotional well-being of their family. But critics aren't buying it. They say Sunny's combative response is just a distraction, a way to shift focus away from the serious allegations against her husband.
Sunny Hostin of The View, who's constantly raging about race and reparations and how bad America is and its racial past.
And let's not ignore the irony here. Sunny has spent years on The View calling out public figures for their alleged misdeeds, whether it's politicians, celebrities, or anyone in between. She's built a career on holding people accountable. But now, the tables have turned, and she's the one under the microscope. It's a classic case of the hunter becoming the hunted. And the internet, it's eating it up.
Panel. She is self-appointed. She knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her talk about.
As the legal battle unfolds, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. The lawsuit against Drew Hostin is expected to drag on for years, with endless court filings, motions, and discovery processes. And with so many defendants involved, you can bet there will be plenty of finger-pointing and shifting alliances. But the real question is, how will this scandal affect Sunny's career and public image? Can she weather the storm and come out on the other side? Or is this the beginning of the end for her time in the spotlight? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. This is one story we'll all be watching closely. And let's be real, this whole situation has people talking, not just about the scandal itself, but about the larger issues it represents. How do we hold people in positions of power accountable? What happens when the public figures we look up to fall from grace? And most importantly, How do we separate truth from noise in a world where rumors and speculation spread like wildfire? These are the questions at the heart of this drama, and they don't have easy answers.
Oh, no. I think that it's very helpful that he's handy. And when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out. He does the heavy
All right, so if you thought things couldn't get any messier, buckle up, because this next chapter takes the drama to a whole new level. It's like every time you think you've seen the peak of this chaos, another bombshell drops, leaving everyone scratching their heads and asking, what's next? Sunny Hostin and her husband, Sunny Hostin, are at the center of a whirlwind that seems to be spiraling out of control. And the more details that come out, the harder it is to look away.
It does not look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
let's dive right back into the thick of it. Now, while the allegations against Dr. Hostin are jaw-dropping on their own, the ripple effects of this scandal are just as fascinating. You've got a high-profile TV personality, a household name, someone who's built her entire brand on being a voice of reason and a fighter for justice, suddenly being dragged into the mud of her husband's alleged misdeeds. And here's where it gets really juicy. People are now starting to question if Sunny Hostin herself might have had a bigger role in all of this than she's letting on. Could she have been more than just a supportive spouse standing by her man? Could she have been actively involved in the inner workings of this alleged scheme? The whispers are getting louder, and the speculation isn't dying down anytime soon. Let's talk about those rumors, because they're too wild to ignore. According to some sources, Sunny may have used her legal background. Remember, she's a former prosecutor, to help Dr. Hostin navigate the murky waters of this alleged operation. Specifically, there's talk that she might have helped him funnel money through a series of shell companies, using her expertise to create a paper trail so confusing that investigators would have a hard time connecting the dots. And if that's not enough, to raise eyebrows, there are also allegations that she acted as a sort of middleman, helping to move funds around in ways that would make them almost impossible to trace. Now, to be fair, these are just allegations for now, but you've got to admit, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore.
Totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips. I know you do.
It's like
twice a day.
But here's all I hear from her. America's violent, America's racist, America's bad.
Now, let's add another layer to this already complicated situation. Over the years, Sunny Hostin has been very outspoken about her personal life on The View. She's talked about her family, marriage, values, all wrapped up in this carefully crafted image of being relatable and grounded. But now, people are starting to question just how much of that image is real. Because, let's be honest, if even a fraction of these allegations against her husband are true, it raises serious questions about what's been going on behind the scenes. And here's the thing. For someone who has spent her career calling out other people's behavior, this could be the ultimate irony. How do you reconcile being a public figure who demands accountability from others, while potentially turning a blind eye, or worse, allegedly participating in something so questionable?
Video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice.
And the hits just keep coming. Let's not forget the fallout happening over at The View. This scandal has put the show in a tough spot, and you can feel the tension every time Sunny walks onto that set. Her co-hosts have been unusually quiet about the situation, which is strange, considering this is a show built on discussing tough topics and speaking truth to power. But the silence is deafening, and it's got fans wondering if there's more happening behind the scenes. Could the producers be weighing their options, trying to decide if keeping Sunny on the show is worth the potential damage to its reputation? It's no secret that The View thrives on its ability to spark debate and tackle controversial issues, but this might be a controversy they never saw coming.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican.
I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
And speaking of fans, let's talk about how people are reacting to this whole mess. Social media has been flooded with opinions, and let us tell you, they are not holding back. On one side, you've got people defending Sunny, saying she's being unfairly targeted simply because of her husband's alleged actions. They argue that she shouldn't be judged for something she may not have even been aware of. But on the other side, you've got critics who are absolutely tearing into her, calling her hypocritical and demanding that she step down from The View. One commenter even wrote, "As always, Sunny Hostin has actually brought this particular situation on herself in the first place for sure." And another fan didn't hold back, saying, "The whole show is racist and hateful and needs to be taken off the air forever." Clearly, emotions are running high, and the court of public opinion is as divided as ever. But let's not stop there, because this story keeps getting messier. Remember how Sunny has always positioned herself as a champion for the underdog? Well, the allegations against her husband paint a very different picture. According to the lawsuit, Dr. Hostin's alleged scheme targeted some of the most vulnerable people, those who often don't have the resources to fight back against a major fraud operation. If these claims are true, it's not just a betrayal of the public trust, it's a betrayal of the very people Sunny claims to fight for. And that's a narrative that's incredibly hard to come back from.
You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner!
Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Sunny's response to all of this. She's not exactly sitting quietly in the corner, hoping it all blows over. No, she's come out swinging, accusing American Transit of running a smear campaign against her family. In a fiery statement, she claimed that this company has a history of filing frivolous claims, has been investigated by New York State, and has even been sued by Uber Technologies. And she didn't stop there. Sunny and her husband's legal team, led by the infamous Mark Garagos, have threatened to countersue American Transit for defamation, demanding $5 million in damages. According to them, this lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate attempt by a near-bankrupt company to avoid paying out legitimate claims. But here's the thing, critics aren't buying it. They argue that Sunny's aggressive response is just a distraction, a way to shift the focus away from the allegations and onto the insurance company. And honestly, it's not a bad strategy. But will it be enough to sway public opinion? Only time will tell. TLBT.
One thing, and I would have even actually not give her any, is she said, well, like, I guess that's just what, like, they did back then.
Yeah.
She should have followed that up with saying something along the lines of, and I understand that that's a departure from the way I've talked about this before. That was, like, to me, the one thing that was missing.
And let's not overlook the timing of all this. In the middle of this chaos, Sunny has continued to appear on The View, tackling hot-button issues and delivering her trademark fiery commentary. But fans have noticed a change. Her usual confidence seems a bit shaken, and there's a tension in her interactions with her co-hosts that wasn't there before. It's almost like she's trying to maintain a sense of normalcy while the world crumbles around her. But can she really keep this up? And more importantly, should she? There are already whispers that the network might be considering her future on the show, weighing whether her presence is worth the risk to its reputation.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny, she is so wrapped up in identity and she had no idea who.
And let's not forget the broader implications of this scandal. This isn't just about Sunny and her husband, it's about what happens when public figures fall from grace. It's a story we've seen play out time and time again, but it never gets any less fascinating. How do you rebuild your career when your credibility has been called into question? How do you regain the trust of your audience when they feel like you've let them down? These are the questions Sunny will have to grapple with as this saga continues to unfold. So, where does this leave us? For now, we're all just waiting to see what happens next. Will Sunny and her husband be able to clear their names? Or will this scandal be the end of the road for both of them? And what about The View? Can the show survive this level of controversy, or will it be forced to make some tough decisions about its future? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and see if we can unravel this tangled web together. Until next time, stay curious and keep the speculation alive.